Madam Chair and honorable members of the Senate, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. As you can see, I'm already emotional with the words that I just heard. I come before you not only as the superintendent of Flint Community Schools, but as a Flint kid, a Genesee County resident, and a steward of children whose lives were altered by a crisis they did not create, could not avoid, and are still living with every day. The Flint water crisis was not a moment in time for our scholars. It was a formative experience. It continues to shape their health, their learning, their emotional well-being, and their trust in the very systems meant to protect them. Section 11S funding was created for one clear purpose: to address the long-term academic, health, and social, emotional impacts of that crisis. Flint Community Schools honored that purpose with care. These dollars were not used for buildings, for programs, or short-term initiatives. They were used for people, adults placed directly in front of children who needed consistent, skilled support. Through this funding, we staffed MTSS social workers and student success technicians. These are not abstract roles. These are the professionals who intervene when attendance drops, who responds to trauma, who monitor health concerns, who stabilize behavior, and who connect families to care when life overwhelms learning. I want to be very, very clear. The reason some funds remain unspent is not because the need disappeared. The reason is the workforce disappeared. Flint is experiencing the same statewide and national shortage of licensed social workers impacting districts everywhere. Only our students carry deeper crisis-related needs. When positions become vacant mid-year, they cannot be filled overnight, and position-based funding cannot be spent without people attached to it. If these funds are reclaimed, the consequences will be immediate and measurable. That means weaker MTSS interventions, increased absenteeism, unmet mental health and health needs, and greater strain on systems already stretched thin. And I want to emphasize, this is not just a Flint Community Schools issue. These are Flint kids. When support disappears in schools, the cost does not vanish. It shows up in emergency rooms, in juvenile justice systems, and in long-term economic harm to our state. These positions prevent crisis. They keep children in school. They help stabilize families. They reduce long-term costs. Taking this funding back does not save money. It shifts the burden elsewhere at a higher price. Workforce shortages should not become a penalty for communities that's already harmed. Recovery does not run on fiscal calendars, and trauma does not end because a hiring market is tight. I ask that all will see this funding not as leftover dollars, but as unfinished work. Michigan acknowledged its responsibility to Flint kids when Section 11S was created. That responsibility is not complete. Flint's children did not choose this crisis, but we can choose whether we finish the recovery we promised them. I urge you to protect these funds, not because they are easy to spend, because they're not, but because they are essential to healing, to stability, and to justice for Flint's children. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for what you do for Flint kids. and your continued commitment to the children we are able to serve in the Flint community. Thank you.
Thank you both so much for your testimony. Senator Cherry.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you both for your testimony. Just to make sure we put a fine point on it, when somebody, particularly a young child, deals with lead poisoning, is that like the flu where you can stay in bed for a week and get better?
You sound a little stuffy, so maybe you're recovering from the flu. So lead exposure has lifelong consequences. And all of our work in Flint has been about the long-term recovery. So this cut is short-sighted. It kind of disregards the science of lead and trauma that recognizes that the consequences, the manifestation of exposure will take years, if not decades, to present and needs long-term commitment.
Thank you very much. And then just Flint Community Schools, Superintendent Jones, you guys have made incredible strides over the years that I've seen you in your position. Thank you for the work that you've done and all you've been trying to do to help Flint kids. So there's some students who are from Flint, but they go to other schools. In these dollars, do these dollars go to other schools outside of Flint Community Schools as well?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right. So if you have kids, there's Flint kids in Kersley schools or Swartz Creek schools, and dollars are there to support those school districts and supporting those kids, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for all the work you've done, and thank you for coming to testify.
Thank you for having us.